What do we fight for? We fight for reducing spending, reducing taxation, reducing unnecessary regulation, and allowing the private sector to be the economy producer, which they can only be. And that says to small businessmen, let's not simply reduce business taxes, let's cut business taxes. In fact, let's cut them all together. Because who pays business tax ultimately? It's the consumer. But that puts a higher hurdle in the way for businesses to compete against the global competition we have and always will have from here on out. That's not going to change unless we close our borders, and then we got bigger problems to trade. I introduced legislation, or didn't introduce, I was the original co-sponsor of legislation that would have put in place a trade prosecutor for our treaties. We ought to have one. We don't have one. Some office in government that is legitimately looking at all of our trade agreements and saying, are they being lived up to? Sugar isn't. Mexico's violated our sugar trade agreement. Why aren't we saying to Calderon, they even come and attack us for Arizona, which was offensive and wrong for you to do, but you're violating our sugar agreements. And we've let you get away with it. We're not going to do that anymore. So those are things we can do. But again, that is a proactive government that says, we're going to back out of the way as much as possible and let the private sector, the small businesses especially, because they are the backbone of our economy. 85% of the workforce here in Michigan works in small business, the ones that remain. So let's give them incentive and then watch the economy grow. And you look at John F. Kennedy, Reagan, Clinton, George W. Bush, all cut taxes. Reagan cut spending too. And the economy boomed. Even Bush, when he cut taxes, but sadly didn't cut spending, the economy boomed. For almost his entire tenure in office, even with the spending. Just think, had we cut taxes as well, even though we had a war, and Katrina and other things that came in place, where this economy would be right now. And we've seen graphic example of Barack Obama goes the old socialist route way, the European socialist approach, of taxing more and spending more. Doesn't work in our own private economies. I can't keep spending on my checkbook and writing rubber checks and expect to achieve. Yes, sir.
A couple of things. One is I completely disagree with you. Obama is the worst thing that ever happened to this country. And every day he's in office, he garners more and more power. And you're awful optimistic about your fellow conservatives or Republicans. I've seen them in action, and frankly, they don't have any intestinal fortitude at all. I've watched some of these things over the years. When you talk about cut, I would not only cut, I'd eliminate the Department of Energy. You should eliminate that. You don't need that. We created that in 1977, and that was to get us on a path to energy efficiency. Now that department spends about $24 million a year, and it's got 16,000 employees, and we're worse off now than we ever were. And these things keep happening all the time. I voted Republican, I voted Democrat, I voted Independent, and I never see, when you talk about the President of Mexico, all the Republicans, all the Democrats, they sat there and gave my hand. I couldn't believe
Not the Republicans.
This guy, did anybody walk out?
No.
Did anybody get up? I give credit to the guy that had guts enough to stand up and call Obama a liar. Then his own party got on him and crucified him because he did that. The guy was right. Maybe he did it poorly, but he was sure in the right. And this is what I'm looking. I'm looking for somebody to go up there and tip that card over and stop going along. And where I see it right now is people get into power, they vote for your pork, you vote for their pork, and it just keeps, and that's right. I can't believe that these men, or hopefully got intelligence, think they can keep printing this. Your dollar has fallen 40% in just the last few years, and we don't have the money. There's no money there. That's all just paper. That's all that is. But I think Obama and his higher echelon are garnering more and more power, and I
But I
mean,
guess
I
I-
hope you're right.
Yeah,
I
what-
hope you're